Ho, ho, ho.
Hey everybody, Simba Sickness here again to talk to you about what I bought and what I watched today. And today was sort of a busy day. I actually ended up buying 3 titles and watching 3 titles. So let's get down to it. Ran out to Goodwill today, picked myself up 2 new VHS tapes. First one I grabbed was A Christmas Carol starring Patrick Stewart. Had to grab this. This gets great reviews online. I've heard really good things. I do have about 100 million different versions of A Christmas Carol. This is just one more added to the collection. I'm sure it's just going to be pretty much the same telling over again. But from what I'm hearing, it's a really good telling of the story, so had to get it. The last set I picked up, I was very happy to get. This has only been released on VHS, never on DVD, and that is Red Hot. This movie looks to be great. It's based in 1959 in the Soviet Union. It's about a rock and roll band, again, in the Soviet Union when rock and roll has been outlawed. This looks to be fantastic. I cannot wait to see this. And the last title I got today actually arrived in the mail, and that was The Ten Commandments on Blu-ray. This I really look forward to seeing. I've actually never seen this movie. I've seen bits and pieces of it here and there, but I've never actually seen the entire 4 hours of this movie. So when will I watch this? I don't know. This is, again, it is a 4-hour movie. I have to sit down and really dedicate myself to checking this one out, or maybe at least split it up within 2 days or something like that. This is going to be a long watch, but from what I hear, it's a fantastic movie. And from the bits and pieces that I have seen of it, it looks really good. So I really want to check this one out. It's about time I finally sit down and watch this movie. I just got to make the time to. But very happy to have this. Can't wait to watch it. So that's it for what I bought today. So now it's what I watched. And the first holiday-related title I watched today was my 666th title of the year. So of course I had to make it a horror title, and that was Silent Night, Bloody Night. This movie was okay. It was a bit slow-paced. It wasn't really told all that well. There was about a million characters in this movie, and if you really weren't paying attention, it was kind of hard to follow who was who at times and what role they played within the movie. It did get a bit confusing, and it was slow-paced, and it just wasn't really all that exciting of a story. They call it a slasher, but as far as slashing goes, there really wasn't much slashing in this movie at all. There was one pretty cool slashing scene with an axe. That was kind of neat, and then after that, there was really nothing. You have there's like a scene with like a shovel. The guy beats somebody to death with a shovel, but you don't really see much. That wasn't all exciting. I think there's another scene where some lady dies, and you don't really see much there either. So really, this is a slasher. I use that term very loosely. So, was it worth seeing? I don't know. Not necessarily. It's just mediocre. Like I said, it was a very slow-paced story. It had potential. It was an interesting enough story that if it was done better, it probably could have been a pretty decent movie. But since it was slow-paced, just wasn't told all that well. It had an okay twist ending, which I guess I won't give away if you want to see the movie. The twist ending was interesting, but since the rest of the movie was pretty slow-paced, not told all that well, it wasn't very exciting. You were kind of like, oh, well, that's sort of interesting, okay, but you weren't taken back by it because, you weren't really all that involved with the story. So, I guess if you're really into horror movies, if you're a die-hard horror fan, check it out, but if you're just your average horror fan, it's really nothing you need to see. Don't confuse this movie either with Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is a much better movie. I highly recommend everybody check that one out. But Silent Night, Bloody Night, again, mediocre. I can't really say I necessarily recommend it. Unless you're a die-hard horror fan, then definitely check it out. Otherwise, it's nothing you need to see. So, it was alright. And the second title I watched tonight was Santa Who. Again, another mediocre movie, unfortunately. But at least this one I wasn't expecting too much of. This is an ABC television movie. This is done for like their 25 days of Christmas thing they run every year. So I really wasn't expecting too much from it, as those movies usually aren't all that great. What it is basically Leslie Nielsen here. He's Santa. His sleigh ends up crashing and he gets amnesia. There's a family. It's a mom, a son, and boyfriend. And the mom, she runs like a department store, Santa Claus. Well, he ends up getting hurt, so Leslie Nielsen here fills in. And also the boyfriend, he's a reporter, and he figures, I can do this like report on, who is this guy? He has amnesia. We found him. If I run this report on like who is Santa, then I can have this great news story that'll be broadcast around the world, and I'll be famous. And that's basically the entire plot. So in the end, of course, he ends up realizing who he is through like the power of like family and love and all that Christmas BS. But you know, it's to be expected. So again, it was a mediocre story. You know, Leslie Nielsen, I thought it was going to be a lot more like slapsticky since Leslie Nielsen was in it. No, definitely not. Leslie Nielsen here just, he plays a guy with amnesia, and he comes off that way. He doesn't really play anything really goofy. He's not really being over the top. He's just Santa with amnesia. Again, mediocre. I can't really say I necessarily recommend this. I mean, if you've seen a lot of like ABC's Christmas television movies and you like those, then yeah, definitely check it out. Because, you know, as far as those movies go, this is one of the better ones, I think, at least the better that I've seen. I did enjoy the story. It just wasn't anything fantastic, and I wouldn't say it's anything you need to see unless you do like the ABC television movies. Then yeah, check it out. So unfortunately, mediocre. Can't necessarily say I recommend it, but it wasn't a horrible watch. If you want to check it out, I'd say see it. And the last title I watched tonight was How the Grinch Stole Christmas, a modern holiday classic. I remember seeing this one in the theaters, and I knew instantly when I saw it this would be something I watch every year, and I have every year since. It is a brilliant, classic retelling of Dr. Seuss's great holiday story. Has all the great scenes from the book, all the great scenes from the Warner Brothers animated TV special, yet it's based around its own little story. Obviously, they had to turn the story into an hour-and-a-half movie, and they do a fantastic job. I mean, it's directed by Ron Howard, so how can you go wrong? I don't think Ron Howard's ever done anything wrong. He's a brilliant director. Jim Carrey here does a great job playing the Grinch. He's goofy, he's over the top, you know, his normal wacky self, but it really fits the character of the Grinch, and it just works really well. It's a brilliant, brilliant movie. It has a great holiday message. I mean, it's a message of kind of like, you know, love and family, and that Christmas isn't about presents, obviously, just kind of like the book, basically. And it just does a great job of just really, again, really telling the story, but basing it around more of a story. It's brilliant. I would definitely recommend this. I can't really go too much into it because, again, it is pretty much just the classic story we've all read and we've all seen on TV, but, you know, with a little bit more added to it. So I would definitely recommend checking this one out. It is something you must see for Christmas. Every Christmas collection has to have this one. It is fantastic. I would highly recommend it. So that's it for what I bought when I watched today. Again, got those great titles from Goodwill. Really look forward to seeing those, and also Ten Commandments. That should be a great watch. Unfortunately, Silent Night, Bloody Night wasn't that great of a movie, and Santa Who was just mediocre as well, but at least I watched Grinch Stole Christmas, which is a fantastic movie. Definitely recommend that one. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to see what I bought and what I watch tomorrow. See ya.